Hello to all of you. Thank you very much for joining this webinar introducing Dynaway EAM for Business Central. Just before we get started, we just want to launch a small poll to see if you can actually hear the audio. So if you can please respond to the poll here on the screen, that would be much appreciated. Perfect. It seems like at least a majority can hear the sound, so we'll just continue and hopefully the remaining part will figure out if the sound is turned off. Great. So we have a little bit of an introduction here. First of all, we'll go through some slides, but just before we start that, I just want to say that this session is being recorded. So in case that you have any colleagues or you want to go and revisit it afterwards, then feel free to do so. It will be published and made available. Furthermore, if you have any questions during the presentation, please use the chat log. So we will try to answer most of the questions during the presentation. If not, we will of course return back to you with the answer on that question. And also we may pick up a few ones that we will cover at the end and ask our product specialist to answer those. The rough agenda here is that I have a few slides for the introduction, then I'll hand it over to one of my colleagues who will do the presentation, and then we have an outro where we have a little bit of material for you as you leave, and hopefully you will stay with us for the full session here, which will take approximately an hour. So just a short introduction of the team here today. With me, I have Ekle, who's our digital marketing manager. Ekle will be here as a wing lady and answer some of the questions in case you have any. The center person here on the screen will be your main presenter today, Christoph. He will present our tool and learn you how to use Dynaway EAM inside of BC. And I'll be with you here from a commercial perspective. So if you have any questions around that, I'll be here to answer those. So really, some of the questions that we get is how do we get started if we want to try out Dynaway? You have to visit the app source where you will see that we have 5 apps. The main one will be the one on the left called Dynaway EAM, and the other ones will be supporting that main EAM platform. So it will be request, scheduling board, forms, and safe work. We don't have time to cover all of them today, but there will be some later webinars where we'll cover some of them, and there you can follow them. Really important to say around this is that it's cloud only. So if you're running BC on-prem or Nav or Navision even, you still have to consider that you have to move to BC SaaS in order to use Dynaway. If you are starting to use Dynaway, there are some options here, really how to get started. Onboarding for us is very, very important. It's not just a piece of software that we deliver, it's actually also a starting onboarding approach. So if we take it down from the left, even before you start installing the software, there's an interactive guide that will help you through the whole process of installing the different apps. Then we have assisted setup, like you know it from BC, what can help you to assign your assets, work orders, and so forth, and they will guide you through that process. Of course, if you do have some assets from previous systems, you can import them through Excel. We have some templates that you can use there. And once you reach that stage, you're actually at the process of what Christoph will show today, which is to work around your assets, create work orders, and so forth. And there we also have the interactive guide. The 2 interactive guides that you'll see here on this arrow and onboarding process, we'll share with you afterwards. They are available in an online format, and you'll have them as a follow-up. If you then continue using Dynaway, then of course there will typically be more requirements on questions, documentation, and so forth. If you go to help.dynaway.com, you'll see the whole documentation knowledge base that we have available in an online format where you have search options as well. Good enough for that part. It's really important before we start the presentation that you understand that this is actually an EAM platform which is built inside of BC. It's not a third-party application. It's not something that supports any other ERP solution. It is built for BC, and it runs inside of BC. So if you're familiar with BC, the processes there, you can quickly identify some of the processes that we have copied into Dynaway, and also with the fact that it links into items, purchasing, finance, resource, and so forth. So we're taking all the good parts of BC and link them into Dynaway, or the other way around, if you will. Just before I leave it over to Christoph, I want to show you a short video which represents a typical business challenge. You know, it may be a small one, but I'm pretty sure if you've seen it or if you've known it, then I'm pretty sure you can recognize it from before. So just a short video, just stay on the line.
Is your company using Business Central? Do you have a large number of assets to maintain? Imagine that you're a maintenance manager and you have to manage your spare part inventory in a system that's not integrated with your Microsoft ERP. Your system tells you that you should buy a $10 spare part. You send it to purchasing, they go into the ERP, they call the vendor, and now they find out that the part actually costs $12. And then, when you receive it in the inventory, there is actually a $5 freight charge on it. Well, now your standalone asset management system is telling you that the part costs $10, but it actually costs $17. So, now what? Some companies do double entry, review the cost, make it right in the standalone system, but that's quite complex and it's going to take a lot of time and cause a lot of issues. With a built-in system like EAM for Business Central, these kind of problems just disappear because everything is happening in one system. You can find out more on our website, dynaway.com/EAMBC, or start using the free version today by downloading it for free from App Stores.
Great. So back to the presentation here. And with that short case and with the short introduction that I just gave you, I want to hand it over to Christoph, who will take over from here. And Christoph, I know you have a few slides to cover just before the product presentation, but it's over to you.
Thank you, Mikael. I hope you can hear me. So yeah, I have only 2 slides here, and then I will move to real system. So what everyone wants to see. So if I can ask you, yeah. So what you can find in Dynaway maintenance and all our apps which we have, and those which you see here on blue, this is what we will focus on today. Unfortunately, we don't have so much time to focus on everything. So for us, basic of everything what we have are assets, and that doesn't mean only fixed assets, but maintenance assets are much more complex than the fixed asset part. It's not only finance, it's much more, and it's also more structure ways. So I will try to show you how you can create assets, but also how you can manage assets in the system. Then we have work order plans. So this is the place where we can plan the maintenance. We have few options for that, which I also will try to show you. And but that's more for the planning, for managers who will work with that part. Then we have work orders, which are meant for the technicians. So this is used for report what resources, items, and expenses we have on the work. And after that is closed, we have a whole history. So we have posted work orders, also work order ledger entries, so the whole history of our maintenance, and that's also which I would like to show you. 3 things which are not here, I will not show, maybe except one, which we will have time. One is maintenance requests, and this is where all the users from BC without additional license from Dynaway side can report the request for the maintenance, and maintenance can communicate with them and do some actions, create work orders, and so on to fulfill those requests. Another thing is the graphical scheduling board. So I hope I will be able to show it today, but you need to know that you can schedule the work orders in the graphical way as well. And one additional app which we also have is a safe work. which is totally integrated with other functionalities, and there you can do lockout, tagouts, risk assessment, permit to work, and also inspection and for many assets at the same time. So if I can ask you for the next slide. So from the video, you already seen how much important are costs in the maintenance for us, but also in general, and what we track and what we allow to predict in future as well. So we have a resource, so we know how much time we spend on maintenance. We also can plan it to the future and see how many time we will spend in the future for that. We have also spare parts, so items in Business Central. So we have full integration or full usage of that. So we know what were posted, what we need for today, what we will need for the future, and we can do the requisition for that and use purchasing to just purchase those items on time. And expenses for us is everything additional what we have. So in fact, I'm always saying that it's, for example, cost of traveling, hotel, but it can be more. It can be contractors as well. So everything where we at the end will get the invoice which we need to just post in the system and map it to our expenses and add additional cost to the maintenance work order. Okay, and that's all if in regards of the presentation. So now I will try to show my screen, and yes, so let me. Okay, I hope you see Business Central right now. Okay, so this is how Dynaway EAM add-on looks like, and we are now logging as asset manager. So you can see on the screen most important things for the manager, but also one thing which I would like to say here. We, at the manager level, we focus from the overall view. So for example, how many we have all active work orders to what is assigned to me, so to the specific person. We have also another role center for technicians where we focus on different other order. So what is important for me, how many work orders I have assigned to me will be on the first place, and how many assigned to everyone, it will be the second place. So I said assets for us is the most important thing. So let's move to the asset register, so asset list. And I will just open one of the assets which I prepared for today. It will be a planetary mixer. So few things which I would like to show you what you already can see here and what you can do with your assets. So you can see that we have a status, so we can say if it's installed, if it's not installed. So basically it says if the asset is active or not. We have also condition, so if it's in the good condition, is it in the bad condition. If it's in the bad condition, then I can see it on my list as red asset, and other things like category, manufacturer, and so on. Also parent number, the one thing which is quite important, and this allows us to build the hierarchy of the asset, which I will show you later on the tree. But this one field allows us to build the structure of all the assets. We can put the assets in the specific locations, so that's quite important if you would like to track where your assets are and move assets between location. You can do it just from this place, but also we have a functionality which allows you to do the asset transfers, which are very similar to item transfers in the system. But location has also one very important thing as well. It's mapping our warehouse location. So it tells from which location we will take spare parts to which location we need to buy the spare parts that we will be able to consume our items. You can also track the warranty. So if asset has warranty, you will be notified if the warranty is near to expire. And one thing which I want to show you here is items. It's bill of material of our asset. So all the spare parts which we can use for this asset. And one thing which you need to know, we are using standard Business Central items. What does it mean? To those of you which know Business Central, is just a normal card without any modification almost. But to those which doesn't know Business Central is that you can use all the features which Business Central gives you. So for example, different unit of measure, different item categories, costing method, so how much we have, inventory, so purchasing, selling items, everything of that you can do also together with planning, which I will try to show you later. But we know that items which are in maintenance, we don't need to show technicians all the items, and also it's not needed to see raw materials, finished products, and so on. So for that, we see only the items which are marked as a maintenance item, right? So only those items will be additionally only shown in Dynaway module. Already probably see that we can have an asset picture, so that's allow you also to see the asset. But I also would like to tell you a few more things which you can do on the asset. First is asset attributes. So you can assign as many attributes as you would like to have an asset. So if we are missing any field, let's say we don't have, for example, voltage, we can add that. We can add such attribute to the asset and later also filter based on the attributes. So that's one thing. The second thing which I would like to share is documents. And documents are your documents, your Word documents, PDF, and everything what you really need. So let's just choose something from my documents. Too many clicks. So sorry for that. Let's choose something from my folder. In fact, it doesn't matter what I will choose now, but what is a nice thing for the documents? The first one is that you can have one document which will be assigned to many assets or to many places in the system. So if I will go to show my document, you can see where it is used. So I can add many assets for the document. So let's add one more, and then that gives you possibility that the document in fact is used by many, which should be used by many assets, is only once in database or in Azure Blob Storage, where you can store very cheaply the documents, and then everyone will have the last version, and you can also always have the updated version. Additional thing which I would like to tell, I will not show it now. You can also connect your fixed your maintenance asset with the fixed asset, and that will give you the possibility to see all the cost from the maintenance side also on your fixed asset card. And you can assign many maintenance assets to one fixed asset, because we know that it's quite important. Of course, everything what we have is also tracked. So all the things which I'm doing here as Martin Woods, I see the audit trail for that. So if your organization requires the audit trail, what was going on with the asset, who changed what and when exactly, for example, condition code or location and so on, that you also have, and you can set up this what you would like to track. But I mentioned that we have a hierarchy of the assets, so it's nice to have a list which you can filter and so on. But we also see that a lot of people like to use the asset tree. And asset tree is where you can see the asset in those hierarchy. So let's see on the example which I have here. I have planetary mixers. And as you can see, I have 4 planetary mixers. My mixer number 60 was this one. And I see that this mixer, in fact, contains transmission gear and motor gear. Right, so let's see what is even below. I can see that my transmission gear contains 3 another assets, so bronze wire, worm, and steel gear. And my motor gear as well contains some assets. I can do the maintenance on each of these levels, which you see here. So it's not only on one high level, but it can happen that I need to do some steel gear maintenance or replace this part and so on. But that's not only what you have here. You can show on the asset tree much more. So, for example, our asset components, asset items, documents, downtimes, and so on. So let me just show you a little more if I will just mark a few things here, and that we will see even the posted orders. So that's where, if I will click right now, and let's go to our planetary mixers again and our mixer, you see that now I have little more things. So I have a plan. So how we will do the maintenance. I have one plan for that. And I also can see, okay, there is already some order, and this order has some resources and items on it. The same with items. So what are the items on my plan, and what are the frequencies and so on? What is the history posted? Every user can have this screen little differently, so everyone can in fact create his own view for using the asset tree. And there is also option to click, right click and see and have some actions here, like create work order directly from the tree or register downtime for the asset. So that's also things which allow the tree. Okay, this is how assets are registered, right? So if we have we have assets, so let's move little and try to do the maintenance for those assets. So I mentioned that we have a work order plans, and work order plans for us is answering few questions. Let's create a new one. So together we will just go through the whole plan. So let's click it. Okay. So the first question which plan or our work order plan need to answer is what asset we need to do the maintenance for, right? So let's choose our planetary mixer. Let's put some description. So replace of switch every week. Right. So I can put some description. I need also put the category. So let's choose some category. I will just choose any of here. I also need to choose the priority. And what else I can do? Another question which we need to answer is when we need to do the maintenance, right? So we have 4 options here. Very simple one, which says I need to do maintenance on specific date, right? So for example, I need to do the maintenance today. As you can see, it's marked automatically the corrective maintenance, but we can also change it for one of calendar. Another option which we can have, which is predictive maintenance, is a calendar. So it says, I would like to do the maintenance every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Right, so of course you have much more options. So you can choose monthly, you can choose daily, you can choose yearly. But the idea is that you are doing the maintenance on specific dates, or for example, every second week, or every second month, or every month, and so on. So this is the next one. Then we have two more, little more complex. The one is a counter, and counter allows you to create maintenance based on some values which are related to this machine, to this asset. For example, every 20,000 kilometers, every 20,000 produced items, every whatever you will think of. And how this data comes to the system, it's either can come automatically or manually, but nevertheless, system can also plan it for you. And the last one which we have is a measurement. And a measurement is IoT sensor or something which gives you some parameters which you would like to know how the asset is working. So, for example, if the temperature is too high, if there is a too high vibration, or any other parameter which you can get from your machine. How it works is either you can automatically get this data, or you can get this data manually in a system, but nevertheless you can filter, okay, I would like to have a maintenance if the temperature is over 20 degrees or so, right? So this is what you can do with the frequencies and tell when we want to trigger. The next option, the next thing which we can say to the system is who will need to do the maintenance and how long it will take. So we either can choose the specific resource which we'll be doing, or we can tell to the system, look, I will be doing I will be doing inspection, or I will be doing part replace. So then system will automatically know why we are doing what we are doing and who should do it for us, right? So let me just refresh this page, and I will just choose the proper work type. Of course, I need to. Okay, we packed, so hopefully everything now will be okay. So let's choose our maintenance. I think Mikkel just mute me. So
no, I tried to unmute you. We lost you just for a second, Christoph. So if you can just
okay.
the previous 30 seconds they disappeared, but I think your sound just fell out. But can you please repeat again?
Yeah, okay, sorry for that. I hope you heard about the resources. So resources tell us who will be doing the maintenance, what we will be doing, and how much we estimate that it will take. Of course, maybe we don't know it, but if we know it, we can put it and later also try to try to see if we match with the estimates. So what I did here is I said that we will be doing inspection and it will take 1 hour. Right? The next thing which we can say to the system is what spare parts we need. So let's choose spare part, and we will just use this switch, and I will be replacing this one switch. So this tells us, allows us to tell what items or spare part will be needed. So at this moment we have those things. We know which asset need to be maintained. We know when we will do the maintenance. We know who will be doing and how long it will take. And we also know which spare parts we need. So those are the questions which we just answered. So let's release the work order. By releasing, we say to the system, look, this is ready to be processed. And I forgot about one thing, so I will just add one thing which I didn't say before, is that you can add the custom checklists, and I will just choose one, which will tell additional parameters for the work order and will need to be filled before we will start work or after we will work, but before closing the work order. So I will also choose the checklist, and you will see later how it's look. So now I'm ready. System knows that this work order is okay. We can this work order plan is okay. We can plan it. So how we can do the planning? There are a few options for that. Either manually, I always saying this one, which I will show you, is semi-automatically, but you also can create a job queue, which will, for example, 1 per day will create all the work orders for you, so you don't need to do anything. But why I like this and planning worksheet, because here I can see everything what need to be created, right? So what I can also manipulate with that. I can create only the work orders which I really need, and so on, so on. So we will see our work order plan here. So number 29, we said we will replace the switch every week, and I can accept the message, right? So I can go and accept this, that I would like to create a work order, but I will not do it tomorrow. I can also specify exact date when we need to do it, because I know my resources. As you can see, I also have my measurements. So my measurement is giving us some values and trigger also the work order based on this measurement. So what I can do now, I can carry out action message and create a work order. So let me just do that. I created our work order from the plan. So if I will go back to the plan, I will see that my work order is already created. But I would like to show you one more thing on the plan. So if I will go to the simulation, let me just open the instances. So we created work order, and that's one work order which is created. But system knows also much more about this work order plan. First of all, what it knows is when we will have another work orders, when we should have them. So as you can see, we should have on 19, we should have on 22nd, 24th, and so on. But also what I can see is I can go to lines. And if I will go to lines, I will know what I need for the work order plan. So I see that there is an item which is needed. I need one piece. And I also see that there is a resource and I need to do it. As you know, I didn't put which resource is needed. So system automatically picked the resource which I need. And but that's not only that. If we will go to the resource, and we will choose planning, and there is a maintenance availability. So in maintenance availability, we can see, for example, by month, we can see how many time we already scheduled for that person on our work orders, and I can drill down here. But I also can see how much time we plan for that work for that person, right? So we at the end can see that, okay, in December that person still have some time to do something else. We don't have full-time booked her. So good, because normally on the presentations I'm overbooked people. So this is one thing which you can see from that view. But let's back here and see the item. So we said that we need this item. I don't have anything, as you can see on my stock, even -1 piece. But what I can see here, I can go to the availability. I can go by event, for example, and I can see also a few things here. So let's choose by month. And I already doesn't have anything on my inventory, but I will have even less after November. So I have 2 work orders which are waiting for my spare parts. I also have simulated work orders. By simulated work order, it means that this is what work orders plans will trigger. It may happen that they will not trigger, but I should be aware that I need to buy those pieces. So at this moment, if everything will go according to my plans, I will be -27 pieces at the end of December. So that's not okay. So what I can do with that? I can purchase them, right? And requisition worksheet. So I can go to the requisition worksheet. Let's open this one. And let's calculate the requisition worksheet. So if I will do it for whole year, that we will not miss anything, but I will just not put the filter. So if I will have all my setup done correctly, I will see my item also here. So I have my switch. I see that I should buy it for 19. That's probably my work orders. But I also have all other lines which says, okay, I should buy it for 22nd, 24th, 5th, and so on. How I know it's for my work order? So let's go to action and order tracking. And if you will click order tracking, we will see why we need it. So here I see that this is the work order which says I need the items. I have 2 work orders at this moment which need this item. If I will go to my another line, I will see my planned item. But okay, why a system ask me to buy it every day? Why I cannot just buy everything in one go? So that's something which we also can do, and this is where integration with your ERP system, or being in your ERP system, I think it's better word, gives us this possibility, right? So if we will go to the planning, and I will just say I would like to aggregate all my purchase orders in 1 month period, then probably if I will go now to requisition worksheet, and let me just delete everything what we have here, just to be sure that it will be calculated one more time correctly. So let's delete the lines. And let's calculate exactly the same what we have. Now we have much less. So you see that I have only 1 line, and that's because if I will go to my order tracking and check why we need it, I need it for these 2 work orders which already exist, and I also see it that I need it for those 2 work order plans which will be triggered at some point. So what we did, we purchased the items. We see that we didn't overbooked anyone. We also already created a work order. So what we can do next, I tell that I will try to show you the scheduling board. So let's see it just for a second. So in my scheduling board, I can see all my resources and all my tasks which need to be done. And I also can see if we have a capacity for this resource. The colors here, of course, there are things which you can set up. Also, all things which you see here, like tooltips and also what lines, what you see on the boxes. You also can do edit. So I can say, look, that will not take 1 hour. It will take us 8 hours instead of 1. So if you will see it now, it's take 8 hours. So I also can see, okay, I didn't overbook this person still, but if I will just move the task to her and I will just refresh it. So now I see, yes, that person is overbooked. She shouldn't do it this day, right? So maybe we should move it to another person, right? So this is what you can do with the scheduling board. You can also filter it by some parameters, and it's quite useful if you would like to see your whole view for week or for month or for a longer period. Right. So we have we scheduled everything. We know that now we should do the work order and post it. So we need to specify how much time we work on it, how much time it took. So for that, if I will just open the work order, you will see that it's very similar to the work order plan. I have in my header the things which need to be done. So what is the status and so on. And I will just open another one because I didn't want to open this one. Let's open our work order which we created. So this is my work order for replace the switch. And what you can notice here at the top, I have some notification, in fact, two. One is saying that there is some risks and precautions. That's from our safe work module. I promise that I will not show it today, so you can only see that it says that we have something, we should look on it. But I would like to focus on our checklist, which we need to fill. So I will switch off my camera for that. But let's open the checklist. And this is something which you can totally configure and do cool stuff in it. And for example, I need to say what is a condition of this motor. So it's bad condition. And I need to take a picture. Okay, let's take a picture. And you will see myself at this moment, but that's also working on the mobile devices, right? So if someone is using tablet or phone, you also can take pictures. And okay, I need to replace the motor, and how much time? That's integer, so I will just put 5, right? But what I want to give you here is not exactly the questions which technician can need to answer, but the variety which you can do. You can easily set up everything what you have here. So let's close it. Now it's done. I'm ready to work. I also want to say that you can also take pictures from here, and you also can take add the documents. You also can see if we have any other work orders or we already closed something, right? So that's all information which in fact are needed for the closing the work order. And she didn't work 2 hours, she did 1 hour, she did 2 hours this inspection, and that's also something which you can change here. We didn't plan it, but we still can use it. You can add the items and so on. So what I need to do now, if we are okay, I need to post and close our work order that I say it's done. So let's close the work order. What's happening here? I need to check something. So this is where you can set up, that's not mandatory step, you can set up what technician need to check before closing the work order, right? So for example, you can also set up that remarks are mandatory, but in this case, I need to check the condition. Yeah, it's normal still. I need to check the status. Yeah, it's still installed, it's not broken. So let's click OK and see if it will be posted. So yes, it is posted, done. We just closed the work order for us. But what is next step? The next step, what we can do is we can see everything what we posted, right? So in the work order ledger entries, we can see how much items, resources we used. You can export it to Excel, but you also have a report which allows you to export also with additional costs, with fixed asset number. So you can build more and more reports on that. And everything what we are doing here is in fact, I should click here, is in fact connected to the standard Business Central ledger entries. So you don't need to do any manual integration. If I post the item, I post it as a negative adjustment in our item ledger entries with the specific cost. In this case, sorry, that's 0. I don't have anything on stock, but with work order usage and with document number. So you can build also your reports in item ledger entries, not only work order ledger entries. So that's where we see everything, but there are a few other things which is worth to know. For example, you can see the whole statistic from your asset, and let me just open our asset when the list will load here. So let's find our asset number 60. Okay, I have my asset, and let's see what we have here in the history. So, sorry, because my connection is bad, but we have asset statistic, and asset statistic, and also with the children, allows you to see little more. So I can check what are the maintenance costs, corrective, preventive, and in total, what is my resource cost, what are my item costs and expenses. So I was doing preventive maintenance, and as you can see, I have some cost in resource. I don't have any cost in item because I didn't put any cost on my item. But if I will get an invoice right now, it will be reevaluated. So we don't need to care about the finance part, let's say integration with your ERP. We are in the ERP. And maintenance statistic, that tells me how many work orders I posted in the period, how many corrective, how many preventive, how much time I spent on it, and so on. As you can see, quite a lot. But we see it for asset, but you also have reports which shows it for many assets or asset category, on asset location, and so on. So it will give you much more views. And I think we can finish right here with that said, that you can build the reports. Maybe I also should mention that you can use your Power BI reports and just use the reports which you can also create, because we have a lot of APIs. And as you can see, I can let's expand this report. I can show you our proposal. but this is something which you can change, or your customers can change if you are a partner, and this is where you can also see all the additional things even without moving from Business Central, and those are based on APIs. So, Mikael, I think
Yes.
back to you. If we have any questions, I would.
Thank you very much, Christopher. You've been busy for the previous 30 minutes, and it was a really good introduction. We had some questions from the audience. As I said, we will try to answer most of them. I see some of them, Christoph, you have to answer afterwards, so after the webinar has finished, so we'll get back to you on that. But I picked out a few ones, and one of them is that if we offer integration with the manufacturing module in Business Central.
I would say yes, if I will answer it in January. So in January, we launch a new app on App Source. And maybe some idea why it's a new app, not exactly inside, is because our system or our extension can be used by any company, so you don't need to have a premium license at this moment to use it, right? And this is what we want to stay still. Not only maintenance companies use not only production companies use maintenance and have maintenance. So in January, we will connect our EAM with manufacturing, and it will allow to block the machines for the maintenance time, but also inform and allow, for example, create a request directly from the production order. So I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, very good. The second one here is it's a longer one, that there's a company here doing rounds that contains many assets, for example, inspection and lubrication. Can you plan with your tool on one work order and with many assets?
Yes, it is possible. In fact, there are two options here. One is that we have something which we call the same name, round plans, right? And round plans are where when you can specify what are the assets which you need to put on the round. So, for example, lubrication, and you can use the items, and then the quantity or resource time will be splitted for all those items. So that's in EAM part, but in SafeWork module, we also have inspection for that. So based on the rounds, you can create inspection rounds, and then the checklist which you've seen is you can set up that it's for each asset, each step for some technician or a person who is doing the round will need to answer the steps, the questions for each asset.
Okay, perfect. A question that just came in, and it's probably referring to the most viewed page in Dynaway, so the asset tree. So in the asset tree, can a given component appear in more than one parent? So a component must be one asset. Can it appear in more than one parent?
I mean, maybe I will just show it. If we are talking about the asset, no. If it's the item which you assign to the asset, then yes, it can appear in many assets. So if we're talking about where we have this, let's say our planetary mixer, and we have items here. So this is the items which we added. It can appear for any asset and in many assets. But if we are talking about transmission gear, which we set up as an asset, then it's only belong to this specific asset. But this is like a sub asset to the asset.
Okay, perfect. I hope that answers the question. A last one before I let you go, because I have a single slide just here at the end, but can you create an asset from a fixed asset? I think you showed it also the other way around.
Okay, yes, and here a small digression is that we've seen that a lot of Business Central partners, but also their customers really need such functionality, right? So at the first we were not thinking about that, but after we heard voice from partners and customers we added. So there are two ways how you can do it, and you can do it either from the asset. You can create a fixed asset. It depends if your processes look like this, or from the fixed asset you can create an asset, right? And then it's tied together. But yeah, so you can create an asset or fixed asset and vice versa. Yes.
Perfect.
And here maybe I will also say that if you have any more questions about the fixed asset and integration with the fixed asset, we wrote also a blog post on our website, and you can just also go and see this in details how it's work.
Christoph, that's perfect. Excellent. Really appreciate your time. And like I said, there's still more questions, but perhaps you could also take a look at it while I just do the ending here, so the outro, and you can have a look at the question log. So I'll take the presentation off the screen if you bear with me 1 second. So there we are. So what I just wanted to end this presentation with is a little bit of information. So like we said in the beginning, we have these interactive guides. If you want to try it out on your own environment, sandbox or production, then we have a step 1, which is really how to install Dynaway, pick it up from the app source, get it installed, what is the requirements for setting it up. You can also, if you download it from the app source, you're getting a free trial license with that. It is limited though. There are some limitations in what you can do, which features you're getting. So potentially not all of what Christoph showed to you is available in the free version. But feel free to get back to us and we will create you a full functional license, of course, for a limited period of time. Step number 2 on that interactive guide is some of the things that Christoph showed to you here in the presentation, but it's in an interactive guide, of course, so you can toggle along, you can share it with colleagues, and you can try to set up some of these. So you'll have that as a takeaway, so we'll send that to you afterwards. A little bit of advertising also is that we're having smaller rounds of webinars. Of course, this was an hour. We'll have 20-minute sessions that will also be recorded. But they will cover the asset tree on the 24th of November from 3 to 3:20 European time. We have asset transfers on the 8th of December. And then we have a topic around fixed assets on the 15th of December, just before Christmas. So all of those 20-minute sessions, and they'll be recorded so you can go and watch them afterwards. I really hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you want to follow us, please go to dynaway.com. You can sign up for the newsletter, look at the blog post. We are doing some amazing activities if you ask us. I hope you like it as well. But in case there are any questions afterwards, feel always free to reach out to any of us. We'll be happy to help you along with the EAM journey. That was all for now. We are 3 minutes early on the end here. So if you have any questions afterwards, please feel free to still chat in the chat log, and we'll try to answer these questions. I hope you enjoyed the show. You have a very good day or evening or morning, wherever you are, and we hope to see you soon again. See you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.